The stars twinkled peacefully in the viewport of the research vessel Stargazer as Commander Lisa Martinez stood watching them. The year was 2157, and humanity had finally reached beyond their solar system. The ship's quantum engines hummed softly, a sound that had become as familiar to her as her own heartbeat over the past 8 months. "Commander, we're picking up some unusual readings from Sector 7, called out Dr. Kevin Bennett from his science station. His fingers moved quickly across the holographic display, bringing up detailed scans of the area near Alpha Centauri. Lisa walked over to his station, her boots making soft sounds against the metal floor. "What kind of readings, Kevin?" "Energy signatures unlike anything we've ever seen. They're massive, far bigger than our ship." Kevin's voice held a mix of excitement and worry. The rest of the bridge crew looked up from their stations, interest clear on their faces. Before Lisa could respond, the ship's communication officer, Amy Parker, spoke up. "Commander, I'm detecting what seems to be patterns in the quantum field. They're not natural." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. They weren't alone out here. Lisa took a deep breath and straightened her uniform. "Send out the standard greeting package through the quantum comm. Let's do this by the book, people." The greeting package was humanity's best attempt at peaceful first contact. Mathematical sequences, basic scientific principles, and simple pictorial messages showing human peaceful intentions. They had practiced this moment countless times in simulations, but this was real. What happened next would change human history forever. The space in front of the Stargazer suddenly warped, and massive ships appeared, sleek, dark vessels that seemed to absorb the starlight rather than reflect it. Their designs were entirely alien, with shapes that seemed to defy normal geometry. "Multiple ships detected," called out the sensor operator, John Miller. "I'm counting 15. No, 20 vessels. Size estimate puts them at least 10 times larger than the Stargazer." Lisa's training kicked in, defensive stance, but no aggressive moves. "Keep broadcasting the greeting package." Dr. Bennett's console suddenly lit up with warnings. "Commander, they're scanning us with some kind of energy beam. It's interfering with our quantum comm signal." The alien ships, belonging to the Jiraxian battle fleet, though the humans didn't know it yet, had mistaken the quantum communication attempts as weapon signatures. Their response was immediate and devastating. The first shot came without warning, a beam of purple energy that sliced through space itself. The Stargazer's shields, designed for protection against space debris and radiation, offered little resistance. "Direct hit to decks 3 through 5, shouted John. "Shield systems failing." Lisa grabbed her command console as the ship shook. "Emergency protocols. Get us out of here." But retreat wasn't an option. More alien ships appeared, surrounding them in a perfect sphere of destruction. On the main screen, Lisa could see escape routes being cut off one by one. "They're broadcasting something." Amy's voice was tense as she worked at her station. I think it's a language, but nothing like we've ever heard before." Dr. Bennett rushed to help decode the transmission, his fingers flying over his console. "The patterns, they're similar to our quantum frequency. If I can just..." Another hit rocked the ship. Warning lights flashed across every console as systems began to fail. "Hull breach on deck 4. John's voice carried over the chaos. "Emergency containment holding, but barely." Lisa made a decision that would echo through human history. "Send everything we have. All our data, all our scans, everything. Back to Earth through the quantum link. They need to know what's out here." The crew worked frantically as the ship took more hits. Dr. Bennett coordinated with Amy to boost the quantum signal strength, fighting to keep the data stream going even as systems failed around them. "Transfer at 60%. Amy called out. 70. 80. The ship's lights flickered as power systems began to fail. Emergency red lighting cast harsh shadows across worried faces. 90%. 95. A massive blast hit the Stargazer's engine section. Alarms blared throughout the ship as the quantum drive began to overload. Transfer complete. Amy's triumphant cry came just seconds before her console exploded in a shower of sparks. Lisa looked at her crew, brave men and women who had ventured into the unknown for the sake of discovery. "It's been an honor serving with you all." The alien ships moved in closer, their weapons charging for a final strike. But the Stargazer's crew had accomplished their mission. Earth would know what awaited them among the stars. Back on Earth, at Mission Control in Houston, the quantum receivers lit up with an unprecedented data burst. As technicians scrambled to process the incoming information, the quantum link with the Stargazer suddenly went dead. The data painted a terrifying picture. Humanity wasn't alone in the galaxy, and their neighbors weren't friendly. The information revealed not just the existence of the Zeraxians, but hints of a massive galactic conflict between the Alliance and the Collective, two powerful factions that had been at war for centuries. Within hours, emergency meetings were called in every major capital. The President of the United States addressed the nation, followed by similar addresses from leaders around the world. The message was clear: Earth needed to prepare. Scientists began analyzing the sensor data from the Stargazer's final moments, trying to understand the advanced technology they had glimpsed. Military leaders started planning defensive strategies. World leaders began forming new alliances, recognizing that humanity needed to stand united. The loss of the Stargazer and her crew was a heavy blow, but their sacrifice had given humanity something invaluable: warning and knowledge. They would not face the coming storm unprepared. In their final moments, Commander Lisa Martinez and her crew had changed the course of human history. They had shown that even in defeat, humanity could snatch a kind of victory. The data they sent back would form the foundation of Earth's defensive preparations, leading to innovations that would eventually shock the galaxy. The Zeraxians, in their arrogance, had assumed they were dealing with a primitive species that could be easily conquered or destroyed. They didn't realize that humans had something special: an ability to adapt, to innovate, and to overcome seemingly impossible odds. As Earth's leaders debated their next moves, one thing became clear: humanity would not go quietly into the night. They would not choose between joining the Alliance or the Collective. Instead, they would forge their own path, developing technologies and strategies that neither side had imagined possible. The age of human innocence had ended, but a new age was beginning. An age of innovation, determination, and survival against all odds. The galaxy would soon learn that underestimating humans was a dangerous mistake. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, the wreckage of the Stargazer drifted silently, a testament to humanity's first steps into a larger, more dangerous universe. But from this tragedy would rise something unexpected, a force that would change the galaxy forever. 3 years after the Stargazer incident, Earth had changed in ways few could have imagined. The old space agency building in Houston had transformed into the Global Defense Innovation Center, and Chief Engineer Maya Rodriguez stood in its heart, staring at the failed results of another experiment. "Try it again," she said to her team, rubbing her tired eyes. They had been working for 20 straight hours, trying to perfect the quantum entangled shield technology. Peter Walsh, the young scientist who had accidentally discovered the shield's basic principle during a failed teleportation experiment, typed in new calculations. "Maybe if we adjust the quantum frequency." The test chamber hummed to life. Inside, a small metal cube floated, surrounded by a faint blue glow. On a nearby screen, numbers and graphs showed the quantum entanglement levels. "Energy level stable," called out Linda Carter, one of the senior scientists. "Beginning impact test." A laser beam shot toward the cube. Instead of hitting it or bouncing off, something strange happened. The beam seemed to vanish into nothing. The room fell silent. Did we just do what I think we did?" Peter asked, his voice barely a whisper. Maya rushed to check the readings. The beam didn't bounce off or get absorbed. It's like it never existed in our space. The implications were huge. They had created something that didn't just stop attacks, it made them cease to exist. But their celebration was cut short by blaring alarms. Nicholas Carter, head of cybersecurity, burst into the lab. "We've got incoming. The collective is trying to hack our systems." The alien hackers had been trying to steal Earth's research data for months. They saw humans as an easy target, a primitive species that couldn't possibly protect their digital secrets. They were wrong. Nicholas rushed to his station, his fingers flying over the holographic keyboard. "They're hitting us hard this time. Multiple entry points." Maya made a quick decision. Activate the satellite defense grid. This was humanity's secret weapon. They had turned their vast network of commercial satellites into a distributed defense system. While alien races focused on powerful centralized computers, humans had learned to use their existing technology in new ways. On the main screen, they could see the attack happening. Red lines showed alien data streams trying to break through Earth's defenses. Blue lines showed Earth's countermeasures. "They're targeting the quantum shield data," Nicholas called out. "But they can't figure out which satellites actually have it." Maya smiled. The aliens didn't understand that the data was everywhere and nowhere, split across thousands of satellites, each holding meaningless fragments until combined in just the right way. "Should we activate the honeypot?" Peter asked, referring to their trap for alien hackers. Maya nodded. "Do it." Nicholas pressed a series of commands. Fake data began flowing through certain channels, tempting the alien hackers to follow it. It was like leaving a trail of breadcrumbs that led straight into a trap. "They're taking the bait," Linda reported, watching the attack patterns change. Diverting to the decoy servers. The alien hackers thought they had found Earth's secrets. Instead, they were downloading complex nonsense. Mathematical puzzles that would keep their best minds busy for months trying to decode nothing. Meanwhile, in orbit, something incredible was happening. The first full-scale test of the quantum shield was about to begin. The U.S. Pioneer, Earth's newest defense ship, floated above the planet. Its captain, Steve Russell, received the command to activate the new shield system. "All hands, this is the captain," Steve announced over the ship's comm. "Preparing to activate quantum shield. Stand by." The ship hummed as the new technology came online. A slight shimmer surrounded the vessel, barely visible against the stars. Then came the test everyone had been waiting for. An old satellite, reprogrammed for target practice, fired a laser at full power. The beam simply vanished when it hit the shield. No impact, no energy discharge, no sign it had ever existed. Back in the lab, the team watched the test results pour in. Maya felt tears in her eyes. Happy tears. After 3 years of work, they had done it. They had created a defense that could actually protect Earth. Peter looked at the results in awe. The Xraxians won't know what hit them. Or rather, what didn't hit them. The implications went beyond just defense. This technology proved that humans could not only catch up to alien technology, but surpass it in unexpected ways. News of the successful test spread quickly through the facility. In the following days, as more tests confirmed their success, Earth's leaders began to feel something they hadn't felt since the Stargazer incident: hope. The Alliance, watching from afar through their spies, began to worry. These humans, who they had dismissed as primitive just 3 years ago, had developed something new, something that didn't follow the normal rules of technological advancement. Maya's team didn't rest on their success. They kept working, kept innovating. They knew the quantum shield was just the beginning. What if we could apply this same principle to engines? Peter suggested one day, as they reviewed the shield data. Or weapons. Maya looked at the young scientist with pride. This was what made humans special. They never stopped asking, what if? The collective's failed hacking attempt had another unexpected effect. It showed other alien races that Earth wasn't an easy target. Some began to approach through proper diplomatic channels, seeking to understand how this young species had advanced so quickly. But Earth's leaders remembered the stargazer. They were polite but cautious in their dealings with alien races. They shared nothing of their new technology, knowing it might be their only advantage in the coming conflicts. Nicholas strengthened Earth's digital defenses even further, creating new systems that mixed human creativity with quantum computing. His team developed algorithms that could change faster than alien AI could adapt. Linda focused on understanding alien technology from the scattered data they had. She found ways to detect Siraxian ships before they dropped out of faster-than-light travel, giving Earth crucial extra warning time. As the first year of quantum shield production ended, Earth had changed from a vulnerable target to something new, a mystery that worried both the Alliance and the Collective. How had these humans, in just 3 years, gone from a pre-space civilization to creating technology that broke the known rules? Maya knew the answer as she watched new shield generators being installed on cities around the world. Humanity's strength wasn't in their technology. It was in their ability to think differently, to take impossible situations and find ways around them. The innovation race had begun, and humanity, against all odds, was pulling ahead. In her quiet moments, Maya thought about the crew of the Stargazer. Their sacrifice had given Earth the warning it needed. Now, humans were making sure that sacrifice hadn't been in vain. The next time alien ships appeared in Earth's space, they would find not a helpless primitive species, but something new, something that could make their most powerful weapons simply cease to exist. The galaxy was about to learn an important lesson: never underestimate human innovation. Dr. Amanda Foster stared at her computer screen in the underground lab of the Global Defense Innovation Center. It was 2162, and she had just seen something impossible. The test particles in her quantum experiment hadn't just moved. They had vanished and reappeared in ways that broke every known law of physics. "Run it again," she told her assistant, Paul Roberts. Her hands shook as she picked up her coffee cup. Paul nodded and started the test sequence again. They watched as the particles disappeared from one quantum field and appeared in another, leaving behind a strange ripple in space-time. "That's the 5th time," Paul said quietly. "It's not a mistake." Amanda reached for her phone. "Get me Maya Rodriguez and the Defense Council. Now." Within an hour, the lab was full of Earth's top scientists and military leaders. Maya, now director of Global Defense Research, stood next to Amanda as they watched the test again. "You're telling me you can make things jump between dimensions?" Maya asked, her eyes wide. Amanda shook her head. "Not exactly. We're creating temporary artificial dimensions, like folding a piece of paper to make 2 distant points touch." John Murphy, their best test pilot, stepped forward from the group of observers. "Could a ship do this?" "In theory," Amanda said, "but we'd need a volunteer to test it." John smiled. "Sign me up." The next few weeks were a blur of activity. Engineers worked around the clock to build a small test ship equipped with the new quantum fold drive. They named the technology the Damascus Protocol, after the ancient steel folding technique that had once changed warfare. On test day, John sat in the cockpit of the small ship, which they had named the Quantum Leap. Scientists and military leaders watched from the control room. "Remember," Amanda's voice came through his headset, "the fold will only last for 30 seconds. Don't stay in too long." John took a deep breath. Starting Damascus Protocol Test 1. He pressed the activation button. The space around his ship seemed to wrinkle like a curtain in the wind. Then everything changed. The stars disappeared. John found himself in somewhere else. The instruments showed impossible readings. Through the viewport, he saw what looked like the fabric of space itself, folded and twisted like origami. "This is amazing," he whispered, knowing his words were being recorded. "It's like seeing the universe's backbone." 25 seconds passed too quickly. Following his training, John activated the return sequence. The strange dimension melted away, and normal space returned. But he wasn't where he had started. His ship had moved 10,000 miles in less than 30 seconds. The radio crackled with excited voices from Mission Control. They had done it. They had found a way to move through space that no other race had discovered. In the following months, more tests revealed the true power of the Damascus Protocol. Ships could appear and disappear at will, making them impossible to track or attack. Even the quantum sensors of alien races couldn't follow a ship through the folds. Both the Alliance and Collective noticed the change. Their spies reported that Earth ships were doing impossible things, appearing and vanishing like ghosts. The Xraxians sent a battle fleet to investigate. What they found changed their view of humans forever. 3 Xraxian warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Earth's moon. They expected to find a primitive defense force. Instead, they found nothing. Earth's ships had vanished. Then the test began. The U.S. Freedom, Earth's first full-size Damascus-equipped ship, appeared behind the Xraxian fleet. Before they could react, it vanished again. It reappeared on their left, then their right, then above them. The Xraxians fired their weapons, but they hit nothing. The Earth ship moved through space in ways their targeting computers couldn't understand. Linda Carter, now head of Alien Technology Analysis, watched the test from Earth. "They're confused," she said, reading the alien ship's energy patterns. "Their sensors can't make sense of what they're seeing." The Freedom didn't fire a single shot. It didn't need to. After an hour of failed attempts to track or hit the Earth ship, the Xraxian fleet retreated. Word spread quickly through the galaxy. The humans had developed something new again, something that made their ships untouchable. Amanda worked with her team to improve the Damascus Protocol. They found ways to make the folds last longer, to move larger ships, to fold space in more complex ways. But the real breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Sarah King, a young engineer, noticed something strange in the fold space readings. "Look at this," she told Amanda one day, pointing to her screen. "The fold space isn't empty. There are patterns." They discovered that the artificial dimensions created by the Damascus Protocol could be used for more than just travel. They could store energy, redirect attacks, even communicate instantly across any distance. John Murphy continued to test each new development. He became known as the Ghost Pilot, the first human to master flying through fold space. "It's like learning a new language," he explained to new pilots. "But instead of words, you're speaking in folds of reality." The Alliance and Collective began to fear human ships. How could they fight an enemy that could simply step out of reality when threatened? Some alien races started to reconsider their views on humans. A species that could develop such technology in just a few years might be more valuable as allies than enemies. But Earth remembered the Stargazer. They kept developing the Damascus Protocol, finding new ways to use it. Each breakthrough brought them closer to true independence. Amanda often worked late into the night, studying the strange patterns in fold space. She believed they had only scratched the surface of what was possible. "Space isn't what we thought it was," she told her team. "It's more like a book. And we've learned to fold the pages." Maya visited the lab one evening, watching the tests through the reinforced windows. "Do you ever wonder what else we might find?" she asked Amanda. Amanda smiled. "That's what makes us human, isn't it? We never stop looking for new possibilities." The Damascus Protocol changed more than just space travel. It changed how humans saw themselves. They were no longer a primitive species struggling to catch up. They were pioneers, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. As 2162 drew to a close, Earth had become something neither the Alliance nor the Collective had expected. A mystery. A planet of beings who could fold reality itself, who could step through the cracks in space-time. The crew of the Stargazer would have been proud. Their sacrifice had led humanity not just to survive, but to reshape the very fabric of space itself. And they were just getting started. Fleet Admiral Richard Cooper stood on the bridge of the U.S. Freedom, looking at the holographic display of the galaxy. The year was 2165, and humanity was about to change the rules of war forever. "All ships report ready, sir," said Captain Alice Morgan, his second in command. Operation Checkmate can begin on your order. Richard nodded slowly. Earth's fleet had grown from a single Damascus-equipped ship to 30 vessels, each capable of folding space itself. But today, they would do something no one had ever tried before. Send the signal, he ordered. All ships begin Phase 1. Across the solar system, Earth's ships activated their Damascus protocols in perfect sync. But instead of creating separate folds, they worked together to create something larger, a massive web of folded space. Lieutenant Sandra Mitchell sat in the pilot's seat of the U.S. Guardian, one of the newest ships in the fleet. She had trained for months for this mission, learning to navigate the complex patterns of fold space. Guardian ready for Phase 2, she reported. The plan was bold, maybe even crazy. They would use their fold space network to bypass the Xeraxian defense systems completely. While the alien forces watched Earth's borders, humanity would strike at their fortress world. Sandra watched her display as the fold web expanded. Other ships appeared as bright points of light in the artificial dimension they had created. The Xeraxians couldn't see any of this. Their sensors would show empty space. All ships report fold web stable, Alice announced. Phase 2 is go. Sandra took a deep breath and guided her ship deeper into the fold. Around her, other Earth vessels did the same. They moved through the artificial dimension like fish swimming through water. In normal space, the Xeraxian fortress world of Kexari spun slowly, protected by layers of defense satellites and patrol ships. They never saw the attack coming. Earth's fleet emerged from fold space directly above the planet's major military bases. The Xeraxians had only seconds to realize what was happening. Remember, Richard's voice came through the comm. Disable, don't destroy. We're here to show what we can do, not to start a war. Sandra piloted the Guardian through a complex series of maneuvers. Her ship appeared and disappeared, confusing the Xeraxian defense systems. Other Earth ships did the same, popping in and out of reality faster than the alien weapons could track. In the command center on Kexari, the Xeraxian military leaders watched in horror as their supposedly impregnable defenses were bypassed completely. Earth ships appeared inside their shields, disabled their weapons, and vanished before they could respond. Base 7 neutralized, Sandra reported, as her team used focused electromagnetic pulses to shut down another military installation. The pulses were designed to disable equipment without harming anyone. Within an hour, every major military base on Kexari had been neutralized. Earth's ships had appeared, struck, and vanished like ghosts without losing a single vessel. But the real impact of Operation Checkmate wasn't the military victory. It was what happened next. As planned, Richard opened a communication channel to the Xeraxian High Command. His message was simple: we could have destroyed everything. Instead, we chose to show mercy. Remember this. The Earth fleet vanished back into fold space, leaving behind a stunned Xeraxian military and a clear message. Humanity was no longer a primitive species to be conquered. News of the operation spread quickly through the galaxy. The Alliance began fighting among themselves, each race afraid that the humans might target them next. The collective wasn't doing much better. Back on Earth, Sandra landed her ship to a hero's welcome. She had led the first successful counter-invasion of an alien world without firing a single lethal shot. The Guardian performed perfectly, she told the engineering team. The new fold space navigation system made it feel like dancing. In his office at Fleet Command, Richard received reports from across the galaxy. The Alliance was pulling its ships back from Earth's space. The collective was doing the same. For the first time since the Stargazer incident, Earth's borders were truly secure. Maya Rodriguez, now serving on the Global Defense Council, met with him to discuss the next steps. The quantum fold technology is stable enough now to start building civilian ships, she said. We can begin establishing colonies on other worlds. Richard looked at the galaxy map, now showing the changed political situation. They'll try to stop us from expanding. Maya smiled. They can try. But how do you stop someone who can step through the walls of reality? The first colony ships were already being built. Earth had chosen several promising planets, far from both Alliance and collective space. Using the Damascus Protocol, these colonies would be just a fold away from Earth, impossible to blockade or isolate. In the training center, Sandra began teaching new pilots how to navigate fold space. It's not about thinking in 3 dimensions anymore, she explained. You have to feel the folds, understand how reality bends. The Xeraxians, humbled by their defeat, sent diplomatic messages to Earth. They wanted to talk about peace, about trading technology. Other races followed suit. But Earth's leaders had learned caution. They remembered the Stargazer, remembered how first contact had gone wrong. They would be polite, but careful. Human technology would remain human. In her quarters, Sandra looked out at the stars. Just 3 years ago, she had been a regular pilot, learning to fly conventional spacecraft. Now she could fold space itself, could step between dimensions as easily as walking through a door. Lieutenant Mitchell, her comm unit buzzed. We need you in the simulator. New cadets are ready for fold space training. She smiled and headed for the door. The future was changing faster than anyone had expected. Humanity had not only survived first contact, they had thrived. They had taken the laws of physics and rewritten them. Operation Checkmate had shown the galaxy something important. Humans weren't just good at defending themselves. They could strike anywhere, bypass any defense, appear where they were least expected. But more importantly, they had shown restraint. They had chosen to disable rather than destroy, to demonstrate power rather than use it cruelly. In doing so, they had proven themselves to be something the galaxy had rarely seen, a powerful race with a conscience. As the year 2165 drew to a close, humanity stood on the brink of a new age. They had claimed their place among the stars not through conquest or surrender, but through innovation and determination. The crew of the Stargazer would have been proud to see what their sacrifice had led to. Their warning had given Earth time to prepare, to develop, to become something new. And this was just the beginning. The grand meeting hall of the Proxima Station gleamed under artificial sunlight as Chief Diplomat Eric Davidson straightened his tie. The year was 2170, and representatives from both the Alliance and Collective had gathered for the first time in centuries. Not to fight, but to talk. Ready? Asked Dr. Michelle Turner, Earth's leading quantum engineer. She stood beside him, holding a small device that would change everything. Eric nodded. Show them. Michelle activated the device. The air in the center of the hall rippled, and suddenly a miniature star system appeared, floating in midair. It wasn't a hologram. It was real space, folded and brought into the meeting room through her latest invention. The alien delegates gasped. Some stood up for a better look. Others backed away in fear. This is a live view of the Centauri system, Michelle explained to the stunned audience. We can now create permanent folds in space-time, windows between any points in the galaxy. 5 years after Operation Checkmate, humanity had grown from a rising power to something the galaxy had never seen before. They hadn't just mastered space travel, they had changed how space itself worked. In her lab back on Earth, Michelle had discovered how to make artificial gravity wells, points where space could be permanently bent and shaped. The technology made traditional space stations obsolete. Now, humans could create pockets of livable space anywhere. The war between your peoples has lasted for centuries, Eric addressed the delegates. But today, we offer a different path. He gestured to the window behind him, where Earth's latest achievement hung in space. The Proxima Gate was massive, a ring of twisted space-time that created a permanent passage between star systems. It was the first of many planned gates that would connect the galaxy in ways previously impossible. In the 5 years since Operation Checkmate, humanity had been busy. Their first colonies had grown into thriving cities. Their ships could now travel anywhere in known space almost instantly. But most importantly, they had learned to use their power wisely. Captain Sam Porter, commander of the Proxima Station, watched from his office as more alien ships arrived for the conference. Each vessel had to pass through an area of folded space that disabled their weapons, a new security measure that made traditional defenses look primitive. His comm unit buzzed. "Sir, the Xeraxian High Commander requests a private meeting." Sam smiled. 5 years ago, the Xeraxians had been their greatest enemies. Now they were among the first to seek peaceful relations with Earth. In the station's quantum engineering section, Michelle's team monitored the new gravity control systems. They had found ways to create artificial planets, to move stars, to reshape reality itself. But they used this power carefully, remembering the lessons of the past. "Energy patterns stable," reported Ben Harris, her assistant. "The new gravity well is forming exactly as planned." Outside the station, space itself bent and flowed like water. The humans had learned not just to travel through space, but to work with it, to shape it to their needs. Back in the meeting hall, Eric continued his presentation. "We propose the Proxima Accords, a new framework for galactic peace, not through force, but through connection." He explained how the gate network would work. Any race that signed the accords would get access to the gates, allowing instant travel between their worlds. Trade would replace war. Communication would replace conflict. But, he added firmly, the technology remains under Earth's control. "We remember the Stargazer. We remember the cost of trust given too freely." The alien delegates murmured among themselves. They had no choice but to accept. Earth's technology had advanced so far beyond their understanding that fighting was no longer an option. In her private quarters, Admiral Sandra Mitchell, formerly lieutenant, looked at an old photo of the Stargazer's crew. Their sacrifice had started this journey, had given humanity the warning they needed. "Admiral," her comm unit called, "the first civilian gate transport is ready for its test run." She headed to the control room, where dozens of screens showed the status of the massive gate network. Regular people would soon be able to travel between stars as easily as taking a bus. Eric's voice continued in the meeting hall. "Earth will serve as a neutral power, maintaining the gates and ensuring peace. We have no interest in conquest or control. We seek only to ensure that what happened to the Stargazer never happens again." The alien delegates listened as he laid out the terms. Earth would maintain its technological advantage, but would use it to benefit all peaceful species. The Damascus Protocol, gravity control, and other human innovations would remain Earth's secrets, but their benefits would be shared. Michelle demonstrated more of their advances. She showed how they could now create habitable spaces in the void, build instant transportation networks, and even manipulate time itself in small ways. "We offer you not just peace," she said, "but a new way of living among the stars." One by one, the delegates agreed. Even the proudest alien races could see that humanity had achieved something remarkable. In just 13 years since first contact, they had gone from victims to pioneers, from targets to teachers. As the day drew to a close, Eric looked out at the transformed galaxy. Earth ships moved through folded space as easily as birds through air. The first civilian colonies were thriving. The gates would soon connect every peaceful world in known space. In Houston, at the old Global Defense Innovation Center, Maya Rodriguez stood in front of a memorial to the Stargazer's crew. Their names were carved in quantum-locked crystal, unchanging for all time. "We did it," she whispered to them. "We found our own path." The galaxy had learned many lessons from humanity. They had learned that innovation could overcome any obstacle, that determination could rewrite the rules of reality itself. But most importantly, they had learned that true power came not from weapons or conquest, but from the ability to imagine something better. As the Proxima Accords were signed, a new age began. Humanity had emerged as not just a survivor, but as a guide to a better future. They had taken their place among the stars not through force, but through innovation and wisdom. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, the quantum pattern of the Stargazer's final transmission still echoed, a reminder of where it all began. Humanity had done more than survive. They had changed the very nature of what was possible. The galaxy would never be the same. And that was exactly what humanity had intended all along.